Alright, people, welcome back to Yaad Finance. This is episode 4, and today we're going to be discussing tourism and specifically talking about tourism not being a sustainable sector for Jamaica to be so reliant upon it. Right now, tourism is Jamaica's biggest earner of foreign exchange. It's one of the biggest sectors that brings income into the country. It's one of those sectors where we invest a lot in it because it has been doing tremendously well. But I am here to say that while tourism is good, while we're reaping benefits from it, we should not be so reliant on it. As a matter of fact, we should shift toward diversifying our economy to the point where we are becoming more self-sustainable, to the point where even if there's external forces acting upon our economy, it will still not be so bad to the point where starvation, our entire economy is crippled, because we have built and developed a sustainable economy where it's focusing on Jamaicans productivity and all of these things without requirement of outsiders. So we're gonna get into it. And the reason why I want to talk about it, is because the current pandemic has made it abundantly clear that we are overly reliant on tourism. We had to open up our country's borders, despite the fact that our healthcare system is atrocious, despite the fact that we cannot afford to have this pandemic wreaking havoc on Jamaica, because people are gonna be dropping like flies, because our health sector is poor. There's not enough beds, hospital beds. There's not enough medicines. There's just not. Jamaica health sector is just not in the best shape to deal with a pandemic like coronavirus that is so brutal, right? And so far, it seems that we have not been, it seems that we have had this under control, but it has been spiking recently, and I see a video making the rounds on the internet where it's about the dream weekend thing, car party, and this girl was talking about how she came from Florida and to be here and to experience dream weekend, car park, whatever the shit that was, right? And if you guys paying attention, Florida is one of the places in America where it's spiking a lot. A lot of countries are closing their borders to America, but because of tourism, Jamaica cannot do that, right? Jamaica cannot do that. And before I did this podcast, I say, and I look up some information and see. So as you know, tourism is Jamaica's biggest earner of foreign exchange. Since 2008, it has changed number one place with remittance, but it's now number one, right? We used to do exporting as well. That's dropped significantly. So tourism is the one that's reigning supreme. I think it's somewhere like around 2 point something billion currently into, right. I look up on next stats on statista.com. It says that 1.6, and let me show you, let you guys see it, right. I'm gonna put the link as well because I want you guys to see what I'm talking about, right. So this is Jamaica most popular countries of origin among visitors in Jamaica in 2008. So you say Jamaica welcomed over 1.6 million tourists from the United States, which made it the most popular country of origin among visitors in the Caribbean island that year. The second place is ranking was from Canada with 400,000, United Kingdom, Germany, and otherwise, right? So these are the top countries that are coming to Jamaica. In other words, Western countries, white country. As you know, America is being hit real bad by coronavirus. It's been hit real bad. Most countries have closed down their borders to America. Now, this is where it gets sticky for Jamaica. Jamaica economy is reliant, completely and overly reliant on tourism. Tourism, as you know, is Jamaica bread and butter at this point. Biggest earner of foreign exchange. Sadly, America is where most of our tourists come from. The biggest people that supply Jamaica with tourists, 1.6, right? Then the second place is way far from America, 400,000. That's not even close to what America is producing into Jamaica per year, right? So America is practically our biggest. It's probably one of the most friendly relationship with. But right now, America is being wrecked with coronavirus, right? The coronavirus is wrecking them, killing people, dropping left, right, and center. Over 150,000 people has died from coronavirus in the United States. They're having debates whether or not they should be wearing masks or not. And Jamaica has to open up its border and let those type of people in, simply because we cannot do without it. Tourism is such a huge part of our economy, where if we decide not to, the whole system will come tumbling down, because tourism is not, is helping the Jamaican economy both directly and indirectly. The vendors, the craft vendors that requires them, the farmers that sell produce to the hotels and all of these things, right? We have to diversify our economy. No, the pandemic is just one thing. There's so many other reasons why tourism is just not a good thing to rely on. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that, let's stop do tourism. No, I was stupid, There's a potential there to earn, so we're gonna earn. But we should not allow it to become such a key part of our economy where we're gonna be held hostage by others. For again, we are being held. We have to open up our borders to people coming in. They might be sick and all of these things. And I know they claim that we have some coronavirus task force that is tasked with ensuring that it's not being spreading. Come on. Let's be honest. That shit ain't gonna stop shit. Right? Jamaica don't have the capacity to police thousands, hundreds, thousands of people coming through our borders. Who are we kidding? Let's be realistic. We don't have the capacity to police that much people. Right? We don't even have the capability to test that many people. Right? We can't do that many tests even on our own population. So how are we going to manage to test what? Our boot stewards and the other white people and foreigners that own the hotels? Are they going to provide machines and testing kits? Right? And this is just the pandemic. Now, let's look at another issue why tourism is not sustainable. Again, right? As you know, China and America is now having a lot of tension. America is talking about banning TikTok. China is retaliating. America is placing sanctions. It's a new world order. America is blaming China for the virus. Jamaica, as is closing up to China. The ambassador for United States that is in Jamaica has made come multiple warnings to Jamaica about getting too close to China. The Secretary of State came to Jamaica, Mike Pompeo, to discuss again issues relating to Jamaica and China's relationship and how it might be impacting how a US might view it, right? So America and China is going at it. Jamaica is in bed with China. China has a lot of investment and infrastructure projects in Jamaica that we need. We need them. A lot of people are saying that we're selling out Jamaica. True, technically, but we need those infrastructure projects. We need those highways. Those highways are going to help create businesses, help, spread out the economy, which is already tied up in Kingston and all of these hot spots. I'm from St. Thomas. We need that highway from Kingston to St. Thomas. If it can take me 30 minutes to from here to St. Thomas, then I might move from town and stay in St. Thomas. Free up some housing in Kingston. So we need those infrastructure projects. But America might just start playing hardball and say, guess what? Jamaica, see those 1.6 million Americans that come into your shores. We're gonna either encourage them not to go to Jamaica, or we're gonna just outright tell them don't go to Jamaica because you guys are getting too cozy with America. And what are we gonna do? Now we are gonna have to make a decision. What is more important? Do we need more the infrastructure projects that China is doing, and we're gonna say, what, fuck you, America? Or are we gonna, oh no, tourism is too much of an important factor in our economy. It brings in $2 billion a year time. We need that. The infrastructure projects haven't even started making any money. Sure, they have potential. What are we gonna do? We have a hard decision to make. You see, when you're not in control of your economy, you're vulnerable to outside forces and influences, right? And this is the ultimate problem I have with tourism, because really and truly, Jamaica doesn't have much say. Like, all we can do on our end is ensure that we have proper resorts, proper attractions, ensure that we market it and all of that. But we still are reliant on people choosing to come to Jamaica over other destinations. We don't have any control of whether or not people are going to ultimately choose Jamaica. We have some control, but not the final decision. We can say we are cheaper, but what if they don't care if it's cheaper? What if they say, Jamaica is cheaper, they have good attraction, but guess what? The America is fighting, and I'm not going, and they're supporting China, I'm not going. crime of violence is too large in Jamaica right now. I'm just not gonna go there because So ultimately, tourism is just not to the best of our ability. Instead, what we should invest in, and again, I'm not saying that completely cut off tourism. No one wants to leave money on the table. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we should diversify our economy. You see, all those revenues and so we are getting from tourism. Why don't we try to invest in some manufacturing plant that first targets and manufacture things for Jamaicans? First and foremost, you see, again, you don't want to be overly reliant on an outside force. So you first implement, why don't you use that money you're getting from tourism and so invest in education, ensure that our human resources the best of the best, top notch. People cannot ignore it. Our human resources are bright. They are able to come up with the next Facebook. They are able to come up with the next big computer science breakthrough where we can export that to the world because it's vital to the development of their IT infrastructure. Let's invest in our doctors who are able to do some top surgery, who are able to, we can do different type of tourism that we have much more power over. For instance, health tourism, where people have to start coming to Jamaica to get certain health procedures done. Now, if they refuse, they die. That's something we have a lot more control over. Let's invest in those things. Let's invest in farming. Jamaica is not even producing most of its food. We import a lot of food from America. I think the import bill is almost almost $1 billion. In other words, we are getting around $2 billion in revenues from tourism every year, and our food bill is half of that. There's too much money that we are giving away that we can keep. Why don't we invest in farming? And not just farming for farming's sake, set up some manufacturing plant where we farm. Let's say we are farming sweet cassava. We can get byproducts. We have bright minds. We have people who are studying agriculture and science. We can come up with byproducts from cassava wine. We can get there's a cassava plastic. Probably there's some way to make some stuff like that. I'm not saying cassava, you can make plastic from cassava. I'm just saying that that's why one of our scientists figured out something that you can do. There's so much things we can do. We have to figure out a way how to take real command and real control of our economy, because you see what globalization and this pandemic has shown us is that too many economies around the world are interconnected, and nothing is wrong with that per se, except for when the world economy come crashing down and you realize that you are being affected simply because you are doing business with one economy. Like Jamaica cannot control. Again, use America as an example, right? There's said to be a recession looming in America, right? Again, we get majority of our tourists from America. Jamaica cannot control America's economy. We don't have any say in how America does and what they do in their economy. We don't have no control in how Americans spend their money. That means if the tourists, majority of our tourists that are living in America should go bankrupt, should start having hard financial times, it means we won't be seeing any tourists. Because again, we cannot dictate to these people how to spend their money. They might start make some foolish decision with their money. And guess what? Those persons that were coming every year decide, we can't come anymore now. We made some bad financial decisions, and now as a result, we're broke. We can't fly to Jamaica and do. As a matter of fact, all we can do is buy food. We don't even have rent to pay and all these things. So shit happens, right? Thousands of people, millions of people are now facing bankruptcy in America. They are out, they are unemployed, they have rent to pay, mortgage to pay, car loans, all of these things. A lot of Americans are living in debt, and it's not good. It's not good. And we have to ensure, and I mean this, we have to ensure that we are not doing anything to jeopardize and damage our own economy because of negligence. So again, I say, don't stop doing tourism, but diversify. Let tourism become like a 10% contributor to our entire GDP. So 10% is a lot, but it's not enough to make you cry. Like if 10% of our GDP should go, our economy will be shrink by 10%. That's bad, couple people, 1,000 people lose their job, couple thousand people are gonna have to cut back on their lifestyle, but they're not gonna dead for hunger, they're not gonna starve. They can, probably next year picks up. But when tourism is 50% of your economy, now that shit goes under. And then we have a problem. We have a real problem. We have what I like to call a disaster. 50% of your economy. Anything over any sector like tourism, that's 30% or more of your economy. But it's solely reliant on other people discretion. We're in problem, man. And if you look at China, that is why China is trying to bring up their population. They're trying to cut off their reliance on exporting cheap products, because they realize that once the world turn against China, their economy is going to be in trouble. So China is trying to move towards high value manufacturing, things that people essential to other people economy, instead of these cheap things that anybody can produce. As you know, a lot of the cheap manufacturing are moving out of China, going to India, places like Vietnam, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, and these places, and for a reason, because China population has become one of the biggest consumer markets, meaning that when those people now start doing cheap manufacturing, they're going to require the Chinese consumers, just like how China require the American consumer, because for the longest time America has been one of the biggest consumer markets. That is why so many countries are reliant on America. If you are producing something, trust me, most of the time you're reliant on Americans, right? And that reliance on America is why America was able to become one of the biggest economies in the world and able to control the world finance system. They can sanction anybody, bully anybody, and they have to take it. So this is why I'm saying that America don't. Can you imagine Jamaica get on America's naughty list? And they say, you know what? We're barring our people from going to Jamaica. This is why you have to diversify. And I'm only going at tourism because it's the biggest earner. But it's not just about tourism. Any business dealings that we are doing that is able to, we should not be doing any business. And let me preface this and rephrase this, because I don't want it to sound ignorant and stupid, because we have to do business with others. Self-sustainable is one thing, but to grow you need outsiders. You need to sell to outsiders. So here's the thing. Our economy should not be overly reliant on any outside force. I think that's the right way to put it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't deal with outside forces, deal with outside countries. We shouldn't ship to export goods to America. We shouldn't require American tourists. Even that. Why are we not trying to diversify away from the American being the majority? Why aren't we buying more ad spaces in China? We are doing business with China right now, and this is why I'm telling you that the people that are running Jamaica are stupid. So many of them are stupid. We are in business with China. China is gonna be getting to do deal with our infrastructure. They are investing money, and they're not doing it out of the goodness as they are. They're doing it for a return. Well, we are also allowing them to do it because we see the need for it, right? Why aren't we advertising in China? Why aren't we ensuring that, you know what, we are getting close to China, but our majority of our tourists come from America? That's going to be a problem if America decided, you know what, you're getting too close to China. Why aren't we diverse? Why aren't we trying to get 1 million Chinese to come here every year and tourism? Chinese are one of the biggest tourist groups in the world. Why aren't we, and I know that they started coming here, but not in majority. So why aren't we getting like at least if we could at least get 1 million Chinese to start coming here, compared to America 1.6. If we start getting more Chinese or Americans to come here, then if America wanna go, we say fuck you, America. We don't need you. We don't need you, America. But we are in need of American tourists. And there lies a problem. We are getting close to China. China's having tensions with America could escalate further depending on how shit goes and what Trump. Trump is a wild one. If Trump wins this election, who knows? It might get worse, right? But we're not extending the courtesy to the Chinese. We're not saying that. Listen, let's think there. Let's do some advertisement in China. Let's put a package deal with China. Say China, okay, you're gonna come here. You're gonna get these infrastructure projects. You're gonna make a ton of money. Why about you do this? Encourage your citizens to start vacationing in Jamaica. See what I'm saying? You citizens to come here and set up wholesales and all that. Fine, we have no problem. Let's make this a mutually beneficial arrangement. Let's get some tons of Chinese tourists come here. You see, this is what we have to think outside of the box, and this is one of the reasons why companies fail, why some flourish. You know, it reminds me of BlackBerry, where BlackBerry failed to innovate when innovation was on the horizon, and BlackBerry was the hottest smartphone back in the days, and then Apple came and whipped their asses. Same thing with Microsoft phone. They failed to innovate. They failed to take serious what was happening. Nobody would thought that mobile phones would be as important as they are right now, but they are. You see, when you are not able to look ahead and discern and see the changing tides in things, then you are failing. China is becoming one of the most important global economies for multiple reasons. We are still overly reliant on the US while we are going close to China. America and China right now is fighting for dominance. But China, as a country, tourism is such a huge part of our economy, GDP. We are not allowing proper knowledge to guide our decisions. Oh, can you get in bed with China while still over reliant on American tourists? Why aren't we encouraging Chinese tourists more to come here? And if we are, why isn't it a public push? You know, instead what I see is an anti-Chinese sentiments that's rising. And if some of us Jamaicans really know our history and know what's really taking place in the dark, some of us will shut our fucking mouths. Some of us are cussing the Chinese about they are buying our countries, but we allow the white man to come here and buy the shit out of it. You know? You see, the moment Jamaica got in bed with the IMF, they sold everything. Air Jamaica, JPS is owned by America, you know, right? An American company, I think. Right? They're a monopoly. I think that's by design. I think that's a coincidence. That's by design. Why Jamaica saying to China, you know what, China? America has been monopolizing our public JPS, the Jamaica Public Service for a while now, you know, the energy business light business in Jamaica. Why don't you come into Jamaica and get a piece of the pie? You know, who knows, probably you can offer cheaper rates. Now we have a competition. That's good for Jamaican consumers. That's good for the citizens of Jamaica. You know, when two companies are fighting for market share, that only benefits the customers, right? Or if we don't want a Chinese come here, why aren't we encouraging a homegrown energy company? Because we are America's bitch. That's why. That's the truth. They won't say it, but I'll say it, because I have nothing to lose except my life that I don't want to lose, so I won't say it. Anyway, I think I'm gonna close off this podcast episode. The point I'm trying to make is this: let's diversify from tourism. We don't have to stop putting the efforts that we're putting in tourism. No, all I'm saying is that we should diversify. The revenue we're getting from tourism, let's invest in farming. Farming is one of the most important things, but I don't know why we decide to stop. Jamaica used to be one of the biggest exporters of banana and so forth, sugar and sugarcane and so forth back in the days. We have moved away from those things. But these things are food is life. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. Right now, the entire world economy would come to garbage shit. And it's looking like that's what's going to happen. But we're still going to need food. Jamaica is not producing enough food to feed the entire Jamaica. Instead, we are buying food. We should be encouraging farmers in Jamaica, making byproducts, banana chips, orange juice, apple juice. Oh shit, man. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Yaad Finance. Make sure you guys follow me on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, and make sure you comment, like, share. Also, this is gonna be on my YouTube channel, on my website, yaadfinance.com. Go over there, check these things out, and I'll see you guys again in some time. Alright, stay tuned, stay blessed, stay strong, stay Gucci. Goodbye.